Good day, everyone. So, we, the Group 3, are going to discuss to you today the arts in the prehistorical and the classical period. So, before we start, let me introduce to you the members of the Group 3. First, it is I, Chirilyn Blanco from BS IT. Second, Zara Kate Kaburatan from BS Environmental Science. Third is Brian Balambao, also from BS Information Technology. Xavieri Bastismo from BS Environmental Science. And Dean Mark Bilano, also from BS Information Technology.
So, good day everyone. I am James Brian V. Balambao, and I am here to talk about the arts in the prehistorical period and the classical period. The prehistoric period, this is when there was a human life before records documented human activity, roughly dates from 2.5 million years ago to 1200 BC. It is generally categorized in three archaeological periods: the Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age. As for the arts in the prehistorical period, the prehistoric people often represented their world and perhaps their beliefs through visual images. Arts Art emerged with the appearance and dispersion of fully modern people through Africa, Europe, Australia, and America. Paintings, sculptures, engravings, and later pottery, they reveal not only a quest for beauty but also complex social systems and spiritual concepts. For the classical period, this is when great change of human history happened, roughly spanned 1,200 years from year 1750 to 1830. During this time, innovations in painting, sculpture, decorative arts, and architecture arise. In the arts in the classical period, it generally refers to artwork created by the ancient Greeks and Romans. It endures as the cornerstone of Western civilization. Classical art pursued ideals of beauty, harmony, and proportion. Even as those ideals shifted and changed over the centuries, while often employed in propagandistic ways, the human figure and the human experience of space and their relationship with the gods were central to classical art. This topic will be further discussed and explained by my co-reporters.
The prehistoric period. Prehistoric period happened 2.5 million years ago to 1200 BC. The correct chronological arrangement of the eras of this period is: first, Paleolithic era; second is a Mesolithic era; and the last one is the Neolithic era. So prehistoric na panahon mo ni siya ang time nga wala kayo tay nakip nga records, kay kani nga time is wala pa kayo nagasulat og mga journals para makabalo ta kung unsa ang history ana nga time. But art is one way nga nakabalo ta sa ilahang ways kung unsa sila nang inabuhi sa una. So when you say prehistoric art, mao ni sila tong mga kind of art na gibuhat sa atong mga ancestors ato nga panahon na wala pa sila official language nga nabalaan.
Characteristics of prehistorical arts. The characteristics of prehistoric art would vary according to culture, beliefs, and the individual artist. Characteristics would be in the materials used, it being charcoal, ash, pigment, or carvings in stone or wood. The prehistorical artworks. So the first one is handprint. So when it's handprint, there are a lot of meanings behind this painting, behind this artwork. Maybe pwede po siya sa kanang para mahibalaan ang ilahang existence, para mahibalaan sa kanang next generation. And also, handprint, it is a sign language used for hunting or silent rituals. So images of animals. So as you can see, na yung mga horses, mga unsa pa mga animals sa nasa jungle nang gina-painting para makita. So kung unsa ilang mga animals na kanang ginahunt sa unang panahon. The next one is small culture. So there are a lot of significance behind this sculpture also. No? It may vary women or men. It means the expression of existence. So mo na siya. So body figure of a woman. So the first glance murag sagwa siya lang taon. These are the statues depicting obese women, fertility and beauty. So before, ang definition sa beauty before is tambok ka. Muna yung definition sa beauty before. It is a two terms of survival in extreme condition. Kaya maka-survive ka sa mga extreme condition. So, muna siya nga sculpture or artwork. Archaeologists have identified four basic types of Stone Age art as follows: petroglyphs and prehistoric sculpture, including small totem statues known as Venus figurines, and megalithic art, petroforms or any other works associated with arrangements of stones. So, petroglyphs derive from the Greek word petra meaning stone and glyphin meaning to carve. So it means any image created on a rock surface by scoring, scratching, engraving, carving are considered petroglyphs. So, pictograph. Pictograph or pictogram derived from Latin word pictus meaning painting and gram meaning drawn or written. Describes an image or symbol which is created in order to express some idea or expression. So, prehistoric sculpture. So, ang prehistoric sculpture being a form of portable or mobiliary art and thus more prone to destruction or loss. So, mobiliary art siya, so madala-dala siya. So, even though madala-dala siya, napag siya disadvantage which is maguba siya or mawala is less common, though no less significant in revealing the intellectual and artistic progress of the culture or artist involved. So, wala ta kabalo kung king si artist. So, sama sa akong gingon kang ganiya kay wala may pangalan, wala ta kabalo kung ano sa iyang but pasabot ani nga artwork or kanya sculpture behind ani sa nga art. Proceed ta, megalithic art. Megalithic art refers to art either painted or carved into megaliths in prehistoric Europe. So kani siya no, ang kaning last image diri sa ubos is very popular din siya. Morning nasa Europe nga gitawag Stonehenge. Nga until today, we don't know the significant meaning unsay purpose ani nga building or na structure. You can tell nga how come nila ma-arrange and ma-organize ang mga bato na sobrang kinakabugat. It takes tons, di ba? Even scientists until today, there are a lot of conspiracy theory behind this artwork. Kaya wala pa ni siya tama nga meaning ani or unsay purpose ani nga artwork or art.
Prehistoric artists recorded their daily experiences in mediums that have managed to make it through centuries of harsh exposure to changing environmental conditions, giving us detailed insights into what life was like in the earliest days of our species before the development of a written form of communication. Even though na they are experiencing a very tough life during their time, nagagawa pa rin nilang gumawa ng mga piece or ilang record ang ilang mga nakita during that time through artwork. So, for example, the mammoths, we are conscious of their existence because of the art that archaeologists found aside from the fossils. Artists that created prehistory art were limited by the resources available to them at the time they lived. The very first art was made from the tools and canvases readily accessible to them, such as cave walls, bones, and pigments such as ochre and burnt wood. So, during their time, dili pa kahimo og art kay very limited ra ang ilang resources. Dili parehas karon na provided nata by the industries and we just need to buy them. Pero sa ila, they need to find a cave or a stone as their main component, and also they need to find a bone or a hard rock in order to carve effectively. Kay dili man na siya pwede na mag-carve kag stone pero kahoy imong gamiton. So they need the quality and right material para makabuhat sila og piece of artwork.
So what is classical art? Classical art refers to the artworks created during the classical period. Classicisms in the art generally refers to artwork created by the ancient Greeks and Romans. Classical artwork may also be categorized as one of the ancient art called either Greek or Roman art. So classical art began in 1750 to 1830. So there are four history period of classical art. First is the medieval classicisms. It begins in 800 to 1400, and then second is the Renaissance classicism, begins in 1400 to 1600. Third, the Baroque classicisms began in 1600 to 1700.
Last is the Neoclassicism, began in 1780 to 1850.
Good day everyone, I am Chirilyn Blanco and I am going to show you some examples of arts made in the classical period. The first example that we have is a sculpture called Venus de Milo by Alexandros of Antioch. Kani siya nga sculpture is 6.5 foot or 6 to 8 foot ni siya kataas, and this is believed to portray the goddess of love, which is in the Roman mythology is called Venus and in the Greek mythology is called Aphrodite. So next on the list is the Parthenon by Ictinus and Callicrates. So kaning Parthenon is dili na siya church, dili na siya palace, but this is a temple built nga dedicate sa goddess of wisdom, Greek goddess of wisdom named Athena sa lugar nga Athens dito sa Greece. O kani siya kay this is the most largest and the most lavish temple sa Greece. Even karon is makita pa nato ang remains ani, and this is said to be kanang the center of the religious life sa mga tao sa Greece sa una nga panahon. The next thing we have here is a Roman statue called Apollo Belvedere. So this is a Roman sculpture nga nagpakita ni Apollo, which is believed to be the god of art and music. And kani siya nga sculpture is it is believed nga naay araw nga gigunitan si Apollo sa iyahang pikas nga kamot, but nawala ang araw nga iyang gigunitan siyang pikas na kamot because nawala ni siya, and nakita rin ni siya or na-rediscover atong late 15th century, and karon is nana siya sa Vatican City, which is appear siya sa Vatican collection sa 1509. So mo to siya. The next example I'm gonna show you is also a sculpture which is called Laocoon and His Sons by Alexander of Rhodes. So guys, amazing kayo ni siyang sculpture, no? So makita nato sa sculpture is grabe ka detailed ang muscles and ang drama and ang facial expressions sa mga character nga naa sa sculpture. And the story behind this sculpture is very amazing. So si Laocoon, he is a Trojan priest, which is nakasala siya and gisilutan siya sa mga gods, and that is why nagpadala ang mga gods og two giant snakes para silutan siya siyang sala, which is ang silot siyang sala is patyo ng yan duha ka anak and kanang leave him alive para mas magsuffer pa siya sa sakit. And sa lain pud nga sources nag-ingon dito nga Laocoon is dead, namatay pud siya, gipatay pud siya sa duha ka snakes, and mao do siya ang story behind this very amazing sculpture. So mao to sila ang some of the well-known examples of classical art. Now ato ta sa characteristics of classical art. So ang pinaka first nga major characteristics sa classical art is nag-encompass gid siya og culture sa Greece and sa Rome, which is mao siya ang nahimo nga cornerstone sa civilization sa una sa Western. So mao ni ang reason nga nung gitawag pud ang classical art og Greek and Roman art. So isa sa mga pinakamahalata nimo nga characteristics sa classical art na ako, based on examples nga ako ang gipakita, is ang harmony, ang beauty, ug ang proportion sa ilahang mga arts. Just look at katong temple, the Parthenon. Almost, no, I wouldn't say almost perfect, but perfect jud siya. Considering na atong mga time is dili pa kaayo siya civilized, or should I say dili pa kaayo siya high-tech, but they are able to create kato nga very wonderful nga temple. And secondly, sa ilahang mga sculpture makita ninyo nga it is very 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 realistic. Makita ninyo ang muscles, which is very amazing. Samot na ang drama tungod sa mga facial expression nga very detailed sad, and makaingon jud ta nga perfect jud ang ilahang art sa una nga panahon. The perfection. Wow. So now, quiz time, guys. Palihog ko lang tayo sa quiz link na ara sa chat box. Please click it. Good luck!